Kai stood alone on the barren ridge, the wind whipping dust around him in swirling gusts. The vast Imperial forces below spread across the valley like a sea of steel and fire, their banners flapping in the wind. From here, he could see the monstrous war machines, their metallic limbs grinding into the earth as they advanced. Each step they took seemed to hammer the ground beneath them, sending tremors up through the soles of his feet. Yet Kai did not flinch. His fingers hovered near the hilt of his lightsaber, but he did not ignite it. Not yet. The Empire had never feared a single opponent. In their eyes, he was just another human, primitive, fragile, and irrelevant. But Kai knew better. He had felt the weight of the prophecy for years, a silent burden that pressed against his every move. Today, that weight felt heavier than ever. A hiss of static cut through the wind as the voice of the Imperial commander blared from the massive speakers mounted on the lead tank. Human! The voice was thick with mockery. You stand alone before the might of the Galactic Empire. Surrender now, and we may spare your world. Kai closed his eyes for a brief moment, listening to the rumble of engines, the clank of armored units rolling forward. The world around him was alive with the sounds of war, yet his heartbeat remained calm, steady. He felt the warmth of the crystal inside his lightsaber pulsing in sync with his breath, a hum of energy that had become part of him. A forgotten force, a whisper of an ancient power, resonated through him. His mentor's words echoed in his mind. The Empire's strength lies in their belief that they are invincible. Show them their folly, and their empire will crumble. Kai opened his eyes, the blue orbs reflecting the distant shimmer of the Imperial machines. The Empire will fall today, he murmured barely above a whisper, but with a conviction that sent shivers down his spine. He ignited his lightsaber. The blade sprang to life, a deep, resonant hum filling the air as the brilliant light cast a halo around him. The crystal at its core flared, and immediately, the sky seemed to dim, the clouds overhead darkening as though reacting to the energy released. The soldiers below hesitated, their machines slowing, stuttering, as if the lightsaber's presence alone disrupted their function. The Empire had never seen anything like it. Their armor had been built to withstand every known weapon in the galaxy, every weapon but this. Kai moved swiftly, faster than they could comprehend. His lightsaber sliced through the air, cutting effortlessly through the nearest tank, its thick hull parting like water. Sparks flew, and the machine crumpled as though a giant invisible hand had crushed it. Soldiers scrambled, shouting in confusion, their once orderly ranks breaking apart like waves against a cliff. The Imperial commander's voice crackled again, this time edged with panic. Focus fire! Take him down! Blaster fire erupted, but it was too late. Kai moved with precision, his lightsaber a blur of light, deflecting every shot aimed at him. The crystal within his saber pulsed with a life of its own, sending waves of energy rippling outwards, short-circuiting the weapons before they could even reach him. Machines that had seemed invulnerable moments ago now sputtered and died. He leaped forward, closing the distance between him and the next wave of tanks. His lightsaber cut through their armor with terrifying ease, disabling their engines in seconds. The battlefield, once roaring with the cacophony of Imperial might, began to fall silent, the sound of destruction replaced by the desperate cries of retreating soldiers. But this was only the beginning. From the ridge above, Kai saw the looming figure of the Imperial flagship, its shadow stretching over the valley like a dark omen. It hovered motionless for now, but he could feel the anticipation in the air. The ship's cannons would fire soon, obliterating everything in its path. They would not risk defeat by one man. He had prepared for this moment his entire life. The crystal in his lightsaber was no ordinary kyber. It was the last fragment of a dying star system, its power linked to the very energy grid that powered the Empire's vast war machines. Kai could feel it now, coursing through him, a force so immense it threatened to overwhelm him. But he held steady, channeling it, directing it. He raised his lightsaber toward the sky, its blade shimmering with untapped power. The air around him crackled, and suddenly, a bolt of light shot from the blade, arcing upwards toward the flagship. In a blink, the light collided with the ship's shields, and the impossible happened, the shields collapsed, flickering out like a dying flame. The Imperial ship trembled, engines faltering, the mighty war vessel brought low by a single strike. Panic spread like wildfire through the ranks of the Imperial forces. Their leader's voice, once so commanding, was now frantic, incoherent as he barked orders. Kai could hear the fear in his tone, the realization that their invincibility was a lie. But Kai felt no joy in their fear. This wasn't a victory for him, it was a reckoning, a moment that had been foretold long before he was born. The galaxy would never be the same. He lowered his lightsaber, the energy around him settling into a calm, steady hum. The Imperial forces, broken and scattered, began their retreat. Kai stood alone once more on the ridge, but now, he wasn't just a man, he was a symbol of humanity's strength, a force that could no longer be ignored. As the last of the ships fled the valley, Kai turned away, his mind already on the battles yet to come. This was only the beginning. Kai's breathing was steady, but his mind churned with the aftermath of the battle. The Imperial fleet had retreated, their confidence shattered, yet there was no celebration in his heart. He knew that this victory was temporary. The Empire wouldn't crumble from a single defeat. They would regroup, learn, and return with greater force. His fingers tightened around the hilt of his lightsaber as he descended the ridge. Below, the valley stretched out like a battlefield graveyard, smoldering wreckage, abandoned weapons, and the occasional spark from a dying machine. He moved carefully, his senses attuned to the eerie quiet, listening for any signs of life. But the only sound was the soft crunch of his boots on the scorched earth. "You did it!" The voice came from behind him, calm but layered with tension. Kai turned to see his mentor, Varen, emerging from the shadows of a nearby hill. His hood was drawn low, concealing the features of a man who had seen too much war. Varen had once been part of the same ancient order that trained Kai, though the years had worn down his idealism, leaving only a hardened sense of purpose. "I stopped them," Kai replied, his voice measured. "But it's not over." Varen's eyes flickered toward the retreating ships in the distance. "No, it's not. They'll come back, and next time, they'll be ready for you." Kai nodded, the weight of his mentor's words settling on him like a cloak. He had shown the Empire that they weren't invincible, but in doing so, he had also revealed himself, revealed the power of the crystal in his lightsaber. The Empire wouldn't ignore that. "They'll send their best," Varen continued, his gaze fixed on the sky. "And they'll stop at nothing to destroy you." Kai turned away, scanning the battlefield. "Let them come. I won't stop." Varen sighed, stepping closer, his tone softening. "You know it's not just about fighting, Kai. This isn't just another war. The Empire's hold on the galaxy is deep. You can cut down their machines, but their control is rooted in fear. And fear isn't so easily defeated." Kai glanced at his mentor, the flicker of doubt crossing his mind. "So what do you suggest? That I hide? Wait for them to crush the next rebellion?" "No," Varen said, his voice firm. "But you need to understand that your fight is bigger than you. There are others who believe in what we're doing, others who will follow you. But they need to see more than just a warrior with a lightsaber. They need hope." Hope. The word sounded foreign to Kai, as if it belonged to another era. The galaxy had been suffocating under the Empire's rule for so long that hope had become a distant memory for most. Varen stepped forward, his eyes narrowing as he studied Kai. "Do you remember what I told you when you first took up the blade? The prophecy isn't just about power. It's about balance. And balance requires more than destruction." Kai hesitated. He knew Varen was right, but the rage burning inside him pushed against reason. The Empire had to be stopped, and every moment they were allowed to regroup felt like a betrayal to those who had already fallen. Yet, deep down, he also knew that Varen's wisdom had kept him alive this long. "I'll find the others," Kai finally said, his voice quiet but resolute. "But I won't stand by and watch while the Empire continues to destroy everything in its path." Varen nodded approvingly. "Good. But remember, this isn't just about tearing down their walls. It's about building something new." Kai looked out at the horizon, the darkened sky reflecting the turmoil within him. And if I'm not strong enough? Varen's hand rested on his shoulder, a rare gesture of comfort from the grizzled warrior. You are strong enough, Kai. But strength alone won't win this. You must be wise enough to know when to fight, and when to lead. A distant rumble echoed through the valley, and Kai's eyes narrowed. Something was coming. Varen stiffened beside him, his instincts as sharp as ever. Imperial reinforcements? Kai asked, his voice low. Varen shook his head. No. Worse. The ground trembled, and out of the dim horizon, a massive shape loomed, one of the Empire's elite warships, far larger and more deadly than the ones he had just faced. Its engine screamed as it descended, casting a shadow over the battlefield. Kai's grip tightened on his lightsaber. The reprieve had been shorter than expected. They're not waiting for a second chance, Kai muttered, his pulse quickening. Varen's expression darkened. This is no ordinary warship. It's a collector. Kai's brow furrowed. A collector? They're here for you, Varen said grimly. To capture you alive! The air around them crackled as the warship's energy shields pulsed, sending out waves that rippled across the ground. Kai could feel it, the pull of the Empire's desperation, their need to control the one thing they feared. His heart raced, but he steadied his breath. Then I guess I won't be going with them. Varen stepped back, his eyes full of urgency. We need to move. Now. But Kai stood his ground, the weight of the moment pressing on him. He could feel the energy coursing through him, stronger than ever before. He wasn't just a man with a lightsaber. He was the beginning of something greater. And the Empire would learn that they could not capture hope. As the warship descended, the sky growing darker with its presence, Kai ignited his lightsaber once more, the hum of the blade steady and unwavering. They want me alive, he said, his voice calm. But they're not ready for what's coming. The battle had only just begun. The warship descended with a grinding hum, its shadow stretching over the valley, swallowing the remnants of the battlefield. Kai stood motionless, his lightsaber blazing in the dim light, its glow a stark contrast against the looming vessel. The collector's ship wasn't here to destroy, it was a predator, here to capture. Beside him, Varen scanned the horizon. They're not wasting time. They've marked you, Kai. This ship, it's designed for one thing, bringing in high-value targets. We need a plan. Kai nodded, his mind racing as he surveyed the area. I'm not running, Varen. No one said you should, Varen replied, his tone sharp but tempered with the wisdom of years in combat. But we need to be smart. If they take you, it's over. The tension in the air thickened as the warship's landing gears thudded into the ground, sending vibrations through the earth. A hatch opened on its side, and out stepped the Empire's elite, tall, armored figures, their faces hidden behind reflective visors. They moved with eerie precision, their formation tight, weapons drawn but lowered. Their confidence was unmistakable. They think they've already won, Kai muttered, gripping his lightsaber hilt tighter. Varen's voice lowered. They always do, until they learn too late. A sharp hiss filled the air as the commander of the Imperial squad strode forward, his voice amplified by a built-in speaker. Human Kai of Earth. You will surrender yourself now. Resistance is futile. This is your only warning. Kai's eyes narrowed. The Empire had grown used to people bending under their might, but they didn't understand the depth of human resilience. He felt the crystal in his lightsaber pulse, as if responding to the threat. It vibrated with an energy that felt alive, waiting for him to act. We don't have time for this, Varen hissed. We need to strike first before they set up containment fields. Kai nodded, his decision made. They'll expect us to run. We won't give them the chance. With a swift movement, Kai darted forward, his lightsaber cutting through the air in a bright arc. The first Imperial soldier barely had time to raise his weapon before the blade sliced cleanly through his armor. Sparks flew as his body collapsed to the ground. The commander barked orders, and the squad responded instantly, rifles raised, their movements fluid. But Kai was already a blur, his lightsaber deflecting their blasts with effortless precision. Each strike he made was calculated, disabling soldiers with speed and efficiency, the crystal's power surging with each move. Varen joined the fray, his blaster firing with pinpoint accuracy, covering Kai's flanks as they cut through the Imperial forces. The battle felt different, personal. This wasn't about survival anymore. It was about showing the Empire that they were no longer the galaxy's unquestioned rulers. "They're going to call for backup," Varen warned, his voice tight as he fired off another shot, dropping an armored figure. Kai grunted in acknowledgement. "We need to finish this now." The warship's engines roared to life again, and Kai glanced up. It wasn't preparing for takeoff, it was repositioning. The ship's underside opened, revealing a massive energy net designed to incapacitate anything within range. If they were caught, there would be no escape. Varen's face tightened. "Kai, we have to move, now!" But Kai wasn't backing down. He could feel the Empire's arrogance radiating from every step they took. His resolve hardened. They would fall here. Closing his eyes for a brief moment, Kai centered himself, focusing on the crystal within his lightsaber. It responded to his call, vibrating intensely in his hand. He could feel its connection to the galaxy, its power tied to something far beyond the Empire's understanding. And then, with a swift motion, he drove his lightsaber into the ground. The earth trembled, and a shockwave of energy erupted from the blade, spreading outward in a brilliant wave of light. The Imperial soldiers, caught in the blast, were thrown back as their equipment short-circuited, sparks flying from their weapons and armor. The energy net from the warship flickered and then collapsed, its control systems overloaded by the surge. Varen's eyes widened in disbelief. "Kai, what did you—" "I'm done playing by their rules," Kai said, his voice calm but filled with a newfound determination. "It's time they learn what we're capable of." But the battle wasn't over. The warship shifted, its engines screaming as it prepared to unleash a barrage of firepower. The remaining soldiers regrouped, their commanders shouting orders, clearly unwilling to admit defeat. "They're not giving up," Varen muttered. "Typical Empire." Kai's eyes remained locked on the ship. "Neither are we." The lightsaber's crystal pulsed again, but this time, it felt different, stronger, more focused. He could feel its connection to the energy grid that powered the Empire's vast fleet, and for the first time, he understood. The crystal wasn't just a weapon. It was a key. He took a deep breath, raising his lightsaber toward the ship. The power flowed through him, and with a single, decisive swing, he sent a wave of energy spiraling upward. It collided with the warship's hull, and for a moment, the ship seemed to freeze in midair. Then, with a deafening crack, its engines shut down, and the massive vessel began to fall. Varen grabbed Kai's arm, pulling him back as the ship crashed into the ground, sending a plume of dust and debris into the air. The sound echoed through the valley, a final, resounding blow to the Empire's arrogance. As the dust settled, Kai stood tall, his lightsaber still glowing, the weight of the moment settling on his shoulders. The Imperial forces were scattered, their warship reduced to rubble, but Kai knew this wasn't the end. "They'll come back," Varen said quietly, his voice low but steady. Kai nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "Let them." This fight was far from over, but for the first time, Kai felt the shift in the balance of power. The Empire feared nothing, until now. The galaxy was beginning to change.